When we say as above, so below, what we're really talking about is connection. Not the surface-level connection we often think of, like relationships or shared goals, but something much deeper, a connection that exists between the physical and the spiritual, the outer and the inner, the macrocosm and the microcosm. It's the idea that what happens in the vastness of space, in the galaxies, in the stars, is the same thing that happens inside your body, your mind, your soul. The universe is alive, and its patterns are reflected in you. But here's where it gets even more interesting. If the universe is a reflection of you, then you, too, are a reflection of the universe. Think about the structure of an atom. At its core, there's a nucleus, and electrons orbit around it. Now think about our solar system, the sun at the center, planets orbiting around it. The patterns are strikingly similar. This isn't a coincidence. The same forces that hold the stars in their place are the forces that shape the tiniest particles of your being. Gravity, energy, balance, these universal principles don't just exist out there, they also exist here. You are not separate from the universe. You are a part of it, a living microcosm.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
But this idea isn't just about science or philosophy, it's deeply spiritual. Because if the universe is a mirror of you, then everything you see, everything you experience, is reflecting some truth about your inner world. This is where it gets personal. If your life feels chaotic, if you're surrounded by conflict or hardship, it's not just happening to you. It's reflecting something within you, perhaps an unresolved emotion, a belief you've been carrying, or a way of seeing the world that no longer serves you. And the beauty of this truth is that it also works in reverse. When you create peace within yourself, you'll begin to see peace reflected in your world. When you align with love, your life will start to mirror that love back to you. So let me ask you this: what does your world look like right now? What patterns keep showing up? Are there situations or feelings you can't seem to escape? These are your mirrors. They're showing you something about yourself. But here's the tricky part: most of us don't want to see what's being reflected. When life gets hard, we look for someone or something to blame. We tell ourselves, it's because of them, or it's because of this situation, but the truth is, the outer world is always responding to the inner world. If you want to change what you see out there, you have to start in here. This brings us to one of the deepest spiritual truths of as above, so below. You are not a victim of the universe. You are a co-creator. The thoughts you think, the beliefs you hold, the energy you carry, they all ripple out into the cosmos, shaping the reality you experience. And the universe, in turn, responds to you, reflecting back what you're putting out. It's a feedback loop, a constant interaction between your inner and outer worlds. This is why spiritual practices like meditation, self-reflection, and mindfulness are so powerful. They help you tune into your inner state so you can align it with the reality you want to create. But let's take this even deeper. If the outer world reflects the inner, and if the universe is a mirror of you, then what does that say about your relationship with yourself? How do you treat yourself? What do you believe about your worth, your purpose, your power? Because whatever you hold within will be reflected back to you in your relationships, your work, your health, your life. If you carry self-doubt, you'll see it mirrored in missed opportunities or challenging interactions. If you carry self-love, you'll see it mirrored in the kindness of others and the abundance that flows into your life. This isn't about blame or guilt. It's about awareness. The universe isn't punishing you or rewarding you, it's simply reflecting you. So if you don't like what you see in your life, you have the power to change it. Not by controlling the outer world, but by shifting your inner world. This is the heart of spiritual growth, taking responsibility for your energy, your beliefs, your state of being, and watching as the world around you transforms in response. But here's where it gets even more profound. As above, so below isn't just about your personal experience. It's also about the collective. Look at the world we live in. The chaos, the division, the fear, it's not separate from us. It's a reflection of the collective inner state of humanity. Just as your personal life mirrors your personal energy, the state of the world mirrors the energy of all of us, together. This means that every thought you think, every action you take, every feeling you hold contributes to the larger whole. You are not insignificant. You are a part of the greater web of existence, and your energy matters. So what would happen if more of us aligned with love, peace, and purpose? What would the world look like if we all took responsibility for our inner state, knowing it would ripple out into the collective? This is the power of as above, so below. It's not just about understanding the connection between the inner and outer worlds, it's about using that understanding to create a better reality for yourself and for all of us. But before we move forward, I want you to consider something deeply. If the universe is a mirror, and everything you see is a reflection of you, then who is the one looking into the mirror? Who are you really? Are you just the body, the mind, the personality? Or are you something greater, something infinite, something that exists beyond the reflection? This is where the journey begins, not with fixing the mirror, but with understanding the one who is looking into it. And when you truly grasp this, when you begin to see yourself not as separate from the universe, but as a part of it, everything changes. The way you see yourself, the way you see others, the way you live, it all shifts. Because you're no longer trying to control the reflection. You're becoming the source. When we talk about as above, so below, it's easy to focus on the philosophical or mystical ideas. But what does it actually mean in the way you live your life? It means that the universe is speaking to you constantly. Not in cryptic whispers or hidden codes, but in the most direct way possible, through your own experiences, through the patterns you notice, through the things that keep repeating in your life. The question isn't whether the universe is communicating with you. It's whether you're paying attention. Look at the cycles of nature. The seasons change, the tides ebb and flow, the sun rises and sets. These cycles are mirrored in you. When you feel tired after a long day, it's your body reflecting the same rhythm that causes the sun to set. When you feel bursts of creativity or energy, it's mirroring the springtime bloom or the fullness of the moon. These rhythms aren't random, they're part of the same universal intelligence that governs everything. And the more you tune into these rhythms, the more you'll find that life doesn't feel like a struggle. It feels like a flow. But here's the thing, most people fight against the flow. We live in a world that often values constant action, endless productivity, and pushing through exhaustion. But this goes against the principle of as above, so below. If the universe operates in cycles of activity and rest, growth and stillness, why do we expect ourselves to operate any differently? When you ignore these natural rhythms, you create resistance. And that resistance shows up in the form of stress, burnout, or feeling disconnected from yourself. So let's bring it back to you. What happens when you stop resisting? What happens when you start aligning with the rhythms of life instead of fighting them? This isn't about giving up or being passive. It's about recognizing that there's a time for action and a time for rest, a time for expansion and a time for reflection. When you honor these cycles, you're not just living in harmony with yourself, you're living in harmony with the universe. But the principle of as above, so below doesn't stop with rhythms and cycles. It also applies to the patterns in your relationships, your emotions, your habits. Have you ever noticed how certain situations seem to keep happening to you, no matter how much you try to avoid them? Maybe it's a type of relationship that always ends the same way. Maybe it's a feeling of not being enough, no matter how much you achieve. These patterns aren't accidents. They're reflections, mirrors showing you something about your inner world. Here's an example. Imagine someone who always feels undervalued in their relationships. They might think the problem is with the people around them, that others don't appreciate them or recognize their worth. But if they look closely, they might realize that the real issue isn't outside of them. It's inside. Maybe they don't truly value themselves, and that inner belief is being reflected back to them through their experiences. This is how as above, so below works on a personal level. The outer world is always giving you feedback about your inner state. This understanding is both liberating and challenging. It's liberating because it means you have the power to change your reality by changing yourself. But it's challenging because it requires you to take responsibility for what's being reflected. It's easy to blame the mirror, but the mirror doesn't create the reflection, it only shows it. The moment you stop trying to change the outer world and start focusing on your inner world, everything begins to shift. But let's go deeper. If everything in the universe is connected, then the patterns in your life aren't just personal, they're part of something much larger. The struggles you face, the lessons you learn, the growth you experience, all of it contributes to the collective. When you heal a part of yourself, you're not just healing for you, you're healing for everyone. This is why spiritual growth isn't a selfish act. It's a gift to the world. Because when you align with truth, love, and purpose, that energy ripples out into the collective, just as fear, anger, or disconnection ripple out in the same way. Now, take a moment to look at the world we live in. What do you see? Division, conflict, destruction, but also resilience, connection, love. These aren't separate realities. They're reflections of the collective inner state of humanity. The chaos we see outside is a mirror of the chaos within. And the beauty we see outside is a mirror of the beauty within. If we want to change the world, we have to start by changing ourselves. This isn't a cliche, it's a fundamental truth of as above, so below. The outer world will always reflect the inner, whether we like it or not. But there's another layer to this. If the universe is a mirror, then it's not just reflecting what you already are, it's also reflecting what you can become. Every time you see someone living with purpose, every time you witness an act of kindness, every time you feel inspired by beauty or truth, the universe is showing you what's possible. It's reminding you of your potential. These moments aren't separate from you, they're part of you. They're reflections of the greatness you carry within. So what would happen if you started seeing every experience, good or bad, as a reflection? What if every challenge was a lesson? Every success was a reminder of your power. Every relationship was an opportunity to grow. This isn't just about positive thinking. It's about seeing reality for what it truly is, a mirror, responding to your energy, your beliefs, your choices. But here's the big question: if the universe is reflecting you, what are you reflecting back to it? Are you reflecting fear or love, resistance or flow, scarcity or abundance? The universe doesn't judge, it simply mirrors. If you want to see love, reflect love. If you want to experience peace, reflect peace. This isn't about pretending or forcing positivity. It's about aligning with the truth of who you are. Because at your core, you are love, you are peace, you are abundance. The more you connect with that truth, the more the universe will reflect it back to you. But let's not stop here. There's more to explore. If as above, so below is true, then it also means that the smallest act you take can have the largest impact. A single thought, a single choice, a single moment of alignment can ripple out into the cosmos, creating waves you might never see, but that are felt nonetheless. This is why your energy matters. Your actions matter. Your existence matters. Before we continue, consider this: if the universe and you are mirrors of each other, then what lies beyond the reflection? What is the source of it all? And if everything you see is connected to you, then what does that say about your role in the grand design of existence? If everything is connected, if the universe and you are mirrors of each other, then what happens when you begin to question the reflection itself? Not in the way we usually think of questions, but as an act of seeing beyond what's being shown. A mirror reflects back what's placed in front of it, but it doesn't define what's real. The reflection is only a surface, a representation, never the source. This is the next layer of as above, so below. While it's true that your outer world reflects your inner world, and vice versa, there's something deeper at play. Beneath the reflection lies the essence of who you are, the part of you that isn't shaped by circumstances, beliefs, or even the cycles of time. It's the source from which everything arises, the still point in the middle of all the movement. Without this source, there could be no reflection at all. Think of how water reflects the sky. On a calm day, the water perfectly mirrors the clouds, the sun, the vast blue expanse above. But the water itself isn't the sky. It's something entirely different: a container, a depth, a life force. The reflection is real, but it's not the whole truth. The same is true for you. What you see in the mirror of your life, your experiences, your relationships, your successes and failures are real, but they're not the whole truth. They're reflections of something deeper, something that can't be fully captured by the mirror. This is where the real power of as above, so below becomes clear. If the universe reflects you, then it's not just reflecting your thoughts or feelings, it's reflecting your essence. And that essence is infinite. It exists beyond the limitations of time, space, or identity. The mirror shows you forms, but you are the formless. The mirror shows you patterns, but you are the one who creates them. The mirror shows you cycles, but you are the stillness that allows those cycles to exist. So what does this mean for your life? It means that no matter what the reflection shows, it doesn't define you. If the outer world is chaotic, it doesn't mean you are chaos. If you're facing challenges or struggles, they don't mean you're broken or weak. These are just temporary reflections, patterns that can shift and change. Beneath them, you remain whole, unshaken, infinite. But here's the part that most people miss: while the reflection doesn't define you, it does guide you. It's like a compass, pointing you back toward the source. Every experience, every emotion, every pattern that shows up in your life is an opportunity to remember who you really are. When the reflection shows you fear, it's inviting you to reconnect with your courage. When it shows you lack, it's reminding you of the abundance within. When it shows you separation, it's calling you back to unity. This is where as above, so below becomes a tool for transformation. The reflection isn't meant to trap you, it's meant to awaken you. Every moment is a chance to look beyond the surface and reconnect with the infinite source within you. And when you live from that place, everything changes. The mirror still reflects, but it no longer controls you. Instead, you become the one who shapes the reflection. But let's bring this back to something practical. How do you live this truth? How do you move from being at the mercy of the reflection to becoming its creator? It starts with awareness. Pay attention to what the mirror is showing you. Not from a place of judgment, but from a place of curiosity. If you see conflict in your relationships, notice it. If you feel stuck or lost, notice that too. These aren't problems to be fixed, they're signals, guiding you back to alignment. The next step is to shift your inner state. This doesn't mean forcing positivity or pretending everything is fine. It means aligning with the truth of who you are, even in the midst of difficulty. When you feel fear, connect with the part of you that knows peace. When you feel lack, connect with the part of you that knows abundance. This isn't about denying your emotions, it's about remembering that they don't define you. They're part of the reflection, not the source. And finally, act from that place of alignment. When your inner state shifts, the outer world will naturally begin to reflect it. But this isn't about waiting for the reflection to change before you act. It's about living as if the change has already happened. If you want to see love in the mirror, live from love. If you want to see peace, live from peace. The reflection will follow, because it always does. But there's one more layer to this, and it might be the most important one. If the universe is a mirror, and you are its reflection, then what does that say about the universe itself? It means that the universe isn't something separate from you. It's not an external force controlling your life. It's an extension of you, just as you are an extension of it. The same essence that flows through the stars, the oceans, the trees, flows through you. You are not just connected to the universe, you are the universe expressed in human form. This is why as above, so below is such a profound truth. It's not just about patterns or reflections, it's about unity. The above and the below are not two separate things. They're two aspects of the same whole. The infinite and the finite, the inner and the outer, the spiritual and the physical, they're all part of the same reality, seen from different perspectives. When you truly understand this, you stop seeing yourself as small or insignificant. You realize that you are both the drop of water and the entire ocean. You are both the star and the sky that holds it. So where do we go from here? If everything is connected, and if you are both the reflection and the source, then what's the next step? The next step is to live as if this truth is real, not as an idea, but as a lived experience. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every action you take is a ripple in the universe, and every ripple matters. You are not separate from anything. You are a creator, a mirror, a source. And as you live this truth, you'll begin to notice something extraordinary. The reflection will start to change. The outer world will begin to align with the inner world in ways that feel almost magical. Opportunities will arise. Relationships will deepen. Challenges will become stepping stones. This isn't because the universe is rewarding you, it's because you've remembered how it works. You've remembered who you are. But before we finish, let's go back to the mirror one last time. If the universe is reflecting you, and you are reflecting the universe, then what lies beyond the reflection? What is the ultimate source of it all? The answer is simple, yet infinitely profound. The source is love. Not love as a feeling, but love as the essence of existence itself. Everything you see, everything you experience, everything you are, it all arises from love. And when you live from that place, the reflection becomes clear. The mirror no longer distorts. It shows you the truth that you are infinite, whole, and deeply connected to all that is. As above, so below is not just a phrase. It's a way of being. It's an invitation to see the infinite within the finite, the divine within the ordinary, the universe within yourself. And when you see this, truly see it, you'll realize that the reflection was never separate from the source. It was always one. It was always you. If everything is a reflection, then what's the purpose of seeing yourself in the mirror of life? It's not just about understanding patterns or fixing what feels broken. It's about realizing that every reflection is an opportunity to reconnect with the truth of who you are. The universe isn't showing you your flaws or mistakes to punish you. It's guiding you to remember your essence. It's reminding you that beyond every challenge, every success, every fleeting moment, there's something eternal, the pure, limitless being within you. Think about how the universe operates. Stars are born and die, rivers flow and flood, trees grow and fall. There's no judgment in these cycles, only movement, only balance. The same balance exists within you. When you feel harmony in your life, it's because your inner and outer worlds are aligned. But when things feel chaotic, when nothing seems to go right, it's the universe showing you where that alignment is missing. This isn't a sign of failure. It's a chance to realign, to come back to the still point within and let that stillness guide you. Here's something profound: the universe doesn't just reflect who you are right now. It reflects who you are becoming. Every spark of inspiration, every moment of clarity, every time you feel connected to something greater, that's the universe showing you your potential. It's not separate from you. It's already inside you, waiting to be realized. When you start living as if that potential is real, when you align your actions with the truth of your infinite nature, the outer world begins to shift. Not because the universe changes, but because you've changed how you see it. So what lies beyond the reflection? What's on the other side of the mirror? The answer is simple: you. Not the you defined by your name, your past, or your circumstances, but the infinite you, the source of love, creativity, and connection that exists beyond all forms. When you live from this place, the mirror no longer controls you. You become the one shaping the reflection. And in that realization, you understand the ultimate truth of as above, so below there was never any separation. It was always one. It was always you.